Originally, I wanted to be doing this video outside in the comfort of the sun around a football pitch, where I felt I'm at most comfortable. But clearly I have gone too far. Clearly I have rattled a few cages, because it seems that a higher power, whether it be the Glazers or Ineos or both, clearly they have been trying to thwart me. Clearly they have been unhappy with my comments around Manchester United, a club that I know I love, and a club that I know Ineos have loved since 2024. In their attempts to diminish me and silence me, they even sent an ex-player to take out, to sabotage. The player that goes by the name of one Daily Wind. But that wasn't enough. I would not be kept down. They have clearly infected me with an illness. My throat is a little bit dry, and my nose is a little bit snotty. But I will not be silenced. I will continue to talk about this club, and I will continue to voice my opinions and my voice, regardless of what those in charge may feel. So, let's get started. So, last time we looked at the players of Man United, we looked at their ability and their mentality, if they're good enough, which I think right now, in terms of looking at the squad, no, I don't think they are good. I don't think they are good enough. Are we going to win a Premier League with this team? No, we're not. There are players here who've been here who you could look at and point out and say they're really good. They are good players, but they've also been here for 5 to 6 years. They've sacked at least 3 managers. At least 3. That isn't good enough. Clearly, that means that they are a problem. I have no doubt that Bruno Fernandes is a great player, but he's 30 years old, and he's not been able to find that right manager. How many more years do we want to? How many more years do we very likely potentially want to waste? Regardless of how good a player is. So where does that all boil down to? Well, in my opinion, it boils down to the management. This club has been mismanaged for too long. We've basically been mismanaged since the Glazers acquired this club on debt. They bought us on debt, and we've been in debt ever since. Any money that we make goes back to debt, which cripples us in a very quickly developing and changing world of football transfers, where now more and more players are being more and more overpriced, and we typically end up on the wrong side of that, overpaying for players, giving them ridiculous wages, and not once, I feel like, has it actually led to any success, or at least any consistent success. and that has to fall at the management. Like, yeah, when when you look at our current squad and the the wages, you look at our top 5 earners, how many of them would fit in a Barcelona? How many of them would get into a Liverpool? You know, um, you know, it don't make any sense. But unfortunately for us, it does, because this is what we do. This is what we have done. It's been a cycle. Speaking of cycles, we've had a manager issue for so long, ever since Sir Al, ever since he retired. It's been a manager comes in, they do pretty well, and then they don't do well anymore, and then they're sacked. That's how it's been. Now, yes, there were a few managers who probably deserved to be sacked because they were not good enough, but there were other managers who I felt were more than good enough. They had the resume, they had the vision, and the club let them down, and the players let them down. But the club and the media and the players, they needed a scapegoat. Hence the sacking of a Mourinho or a Rangnick. But I think for me personally, the sacking of Eric Ten Hag, that was the one where I kind of realised this club is not going to be successful ever again, at least not consistently, because we brought in Eric Ten Hag a couple of years ago, and he said a 5-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 5-year plan. That is all he needs. We sacked him in year 2. Yeah, we sacked him about two seasons after we brought him in. And you can argue, was Ten Hag backed? In my opinion, no. Yes, he was backed in certain ways, but when it comes down to specific game-changing players, no, I don't think he was backed. No, not to the extent that he should have been. No. Yeah, I think Ten Hag has been our most successful manager since Sir Al, winning 2 trophies in 2 years. No other manager at this club has done that. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Ten Hag is the guy and should be the guy. I can't say that. I don't know. But what I can say is he had a vision, and you could see the vision. Now, was it a good enough vision? I don't know. But we never got to see it. We never got to see a full a finish to that vision. And I think that really hurt, I think, a lot of people, not included, because we saw what Ten Hag's team could be. But that was the past. This is the present. What is the present? Well, the present is we have another manager who was successful in his own league, has been brought in to play his own style. The players can't do that, so he needs his own players. But the board can't do that because we're broke. So yeah, that is the current. That is what's happening. Don't let the media spin you. Don't let any PR trick you. This is a fact. We have a manager in who has a very specific and I would say a unique style of play that requires specific players that we don't have. And that, once again, why can't they do that? That can be they are not smart enough. Their their bodies can't. They physically can't. They physically can't perform at that level. And yeah, but we are broke. So the way I see it, Amarim is going to be forced to make it work, which has never worked for any manager in Premier League history, to just make it work. I feel bad for Amarim. I really do. You know, I'm not going to say once again that he is the guy and he's the guy to lead this club out of this pit hole. No, I think he is talented enough to, yes, but so was Ten Hag, so was Mourinho, so was Rangnick if we'd kept him, you know. And you could probably argue and be right that Amarim has inherited a worse team than the previous managers have, in terms of the media, in terms of the mess, and especially in terms of the owners, because Ineos are a part owners of this club, 24%, not even 25%, 24%. And I think Ineos in their first year have been absolutely incompetent, and they have led us down a further pit of just despair. Here's the thing, here's the scary thing, is this is Ineos actually trying. Like, this is them actually trying, but here's the thing, Ineos aren't good enough. I said it 2 years ago, I say now, Ineos are not good enough. They are a small-time ownership in terms of football. They should be owning a Portsmouth, not a club with the history and the notoriety of Man United, especially a club like that is trying to compete with the with the Man Cities and the Liverpools and the Arsenals and the Nottinghams, and the Villas, yeah. This league is the most competitive it has probably ever been, in terms of that top top 8. We sit 13th because we are not good enough. With no ifs or buts. And that is our reality. Our reality right now is we are one loss away in the Europa League from being out. From being out entirely. No hope of any European competition. It's do or die. It's win or we're fucked. Like, that's what it is. If we don't win the Europa League, we are done. There is no money. We will have to sell players such as Mainu and Canacho, players who 2 years ago, they were our future. They were our future. They were the lifeblood, And now we're probably going to have to get rid of them just to bring in other players who aren't as good, or who have the same expertise, because we don't want to bring in big players, because this is a really bizarre business model of Ineos to not bring in big players who Amarim does need. Instead, you bring in smaller players who are cheaper, and who will happily get paid, 20k. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen in my life any Premier League club win a Premier League by buying cheap. And this I think will lead to a very fast downfall of this club, unfortunately. Will Amarim be successful here? He can be. Talent-wise, he can be. But he needs to be backed financially, and he needs the right players, and he needs time. He needs those three things specifically. When has any manager at this club over the last 10 plus years been given those three things? Exactly. I don't think Amarim will be successful here. I think he will be another manager on the cycle. He's in for the first year, and then in year two, it all crumbles apart. I think this happens if we win or or lose in the Europa League. Like, I think if we win, cool. That is some money. We are now in the Champions League. But issue is, are we good enough to be in the Champions League? No, we're not. So we'll probably just get absolutely done dirty in that, and then we're out. And then, we need someone to blame. Let's blame the manager. So yeah, this management has been killing this club, whether it's the Glazers, who have never seen this club as a football club. They ran it as a business, and now we have people who are happy to be the puppets for the Glazers. Except this time, in Ineos's point of view, they have nowhere near the amount of money that the Glazers could have had or have spent in the past, and they clearly don't have the best interests of this club at heart. And that is a shame. I want this club to succeed. I want this club to do really, really well. But I look at the facts, and I look at the players, and I look at the management, I look at the media, and I look at everything else, and it is depressing. It is really depressing. And the only solution, because that's, is there a solution to all of these problems? Is there a solution? I don't know. I don't think there is one. I don't think there is a solution that has the Glazers still in charge. I don't think there is a solution that has Ineos in charge. I don't see it. I just do not see it. I think Ten Hag was that guy. He was that test. He was a test for Ineos, a test for Glazers, and they failed it. And I don't see them passing anything else. I'm gonna just put it very simply. I think in order for this club to once again be successful consistently, because it's not about a trophy every 3 years, whatever. No, I don't want that. I want consistency. I want to be competing with the best in the world. So it's about having the best in class. So I think this club is going to have to go through a lot more hard times until the Glazers are gone, until Ineos are gone, and then maybe then we can get some good people in, some people who actually do want to win and put money in, and then maybe the actual official rebuild of this club can start. But here's the thing: I think that isn't going to happen, because why would the Glazers leave? Why would Ineos leave? Man United is going to make them a lot of money in the near future. In those 5 years, a brand new stadium, a regeneration project, that is a cash cow. So who cares about the football side of things? Who cares? We're going to save so much money by getting rid of big players and bringing in smaller players. Think of the wages. Think of the market value of those young players in 2 years' time. So then we can, get them out. It's depressing, and this is unfortunately stay on Man United. And I would love to say a but or a what if or a this can happen, that can happen, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's over. I think it's over. I would love to be proven wrong, but unfortunately, I think he was the last straw, because I said it when we signed him. Don't tell him. Give him time. There's gonna be bad days. There's gonna be bad games. There's gonna be downs and ups. And there was. What do? We sacked him at the first point. We sacked him as soon as things got a little bit too hard, and then we sacked him. I think it's over. I think we're done. I'm sure there'll be a good game every now and then, a good run of games every now and then, because that is what these players do. They are terrible, and then they get really, really good, and then they're terrible again. This is what we do. This isn't a surprise. This is what we do. The question is how much can we as a fan base take it? I think me personally, I'm already I'm pretty much already done at this point. The question is what can we do as fans? How much power do we really have at this point? I don't know. But what I do know is, and I end it on this fan base is the most split and divisive I've ever seen. And I think that needs to be looked into. And I think that might just be another factor in why this club is struggling. So we looked at the players, we've looked at the management. Next time, let's look at us. Let's look in the mirror and let's look at the fans. I will not be silenced.